Okay, so Doctor Who is about to come back on with The Magician's Apprentice, and it's a little known fact that I'm a big Whovian, so I thought I would rank all the series openers to get ready for the Series 9 opener, The Magician's Apprentice. So let's begin. So coming in last place is Asylum of the Daleks. Now, a lot of people actually liked this episode, but to me, it was just another lackluster Dalek episode. I just thought, and this is the problem, the Daleks at the moment were already useless, but this is where they just got even more useless. Like, in this episode, it felt like I could defeat a Dalek by tipping it over. Like, that's how useless the Daleks were. I mean, it did bring a bit of an introduction to Clara, the Impossible Girl, but aside from that, it just wasn't a good episode. And also, I really hated the whole thing with the whole story arc about Amy not being able to have kids. I thought that was stupid. It was only... I don't like to be one of the people that says, oh, Doctor Who feels too much like a soap opera. But I mean, come on, guys. Come on. Seriously? I mean, it was only there to add emotion to an otherwise empty episode, and it tried way too hard to do that. So Asylum of the Daleks was not a very good episode. It was a lackluster opener to a lackluster season. So coming next is New Earth. So this was supposed to be the Season 2 opener. Really bad episode. Not as bad as Asylum of the Daleks, in my opinion, but still pretty bad. I think, why is this bad? Well, I think Who Addicts Reviews, summed it up in the best way possible. This could have been, and by the way, shout out to Who Addicts Reviews. If you guys are a fan of Doctor Who, I highly suggest subscribing to that channel. But yeah, they pointed out this assumption, and I agree with it 100%. This could have been any episode. This could have come at any time during any season. This didn't specifically have to be the opener. Like, if you look at the 11th hour, we'll get to that soon, but, the 11th hour could not have been the finale. It could not have been the middle episode. It worked specifically. It was like it had the word opener written all over it. New Earth could have been any episode. I mean, if I went back in time and I switched the lineup of the Doctor Who Season 2 episodes, so that New Earth was like, let's say, the 5th episode of that season, then you probably wouldn't notice. Now, that's only the first thing. The second thing was, the cat nuns. Yup, they have cat nuns. Now, I don't know why they decided to have cat nuns. My guess is because they thought, well, it's Doctor Who, it's weird, so let's just roll with it. But seriously, guys, cat nuns. Like, is that, seriously, Russell T Davies, is that the best you could come up with? Is cat nuns? Yeah, pretty bad episode, if I do say so myself, and quite a disappointment, because this was the first episode of the first season that David Tennant was in, and I'm not a very big fan of Season 2. The finale was alright. There were a few other good episodes, but overall you got some pretty bad episodes. Like, you got the one with, I can't remember the name of that episode. It was the one with the TVs on, where they kept sucking your face into the TV. Can't remember the name of that episode, but that was a pretty bad episode. You also had Fear Her. God, that's like the Catwoman of all Doctor Who episodes. And then you got Love and Monsters. Love and Monsters is like the Batman and Robin of all Doctor Who episodes. And that all came out of Season 2. And then you got this opener, so it's clear they were having problems with this season from the very start. Yeah. Next is Partners in Crime, the Season 4 opener. So, Season 4 was a good season. The problem, this wasn't a bad opener, but the problem with Partners in Crime, well, the thing about Partners in Crime is it did a good job of developing Donna, but aside from that, it just wasn't a very good season. I mean, that's pretty much all. I mean, it wasn't. I mean, it was a good season. Sorry, it just wasn't a good episode. It wasn't a good opener. You know, I really think, you know, I didn't like the marshmallow people. They were cute, but, you know, they were kind of stupid. And then also, it was really, the whole thing, the villain was very cliched. The whole evil establishment thing was extremely cliched. I mean, seriously, is this like Oscorp? So, yeah, that's my opinion on Partners in Crime. So, next we have Smith and Jones. This was the series, or the season, because now I know what you guys are going to say. Well, in England, we call it Series 3, so you're not calling it stuff right. Actually, I've seen the commercials here in BBC in America. On BBC America, we call it seasons. So you can call it series, I call it seasons. So this is the Season 3 opener. Smith and Jones. Well, I mean, there's not really a lot I can say about this episode because it's pretty generic. I mean, there's just not really, it's not good, it's not bad. I mean, it's not like a great episode, it's not a terrible episode, it's just, meh. I mean, it feels like, you know, like that normal episode. I mean, it feels like maybe Russell T Davies was busy at the moment, so he just said, well, I'll just come up with this simple little plot for this opener, which is what I feel a lot when I watch Russell T Davies episodes. So yeah, that's kind of it. Smith and Jones. Yeah, not much I can say. Okay, moving on. So next is The Impossible Astronaut, the Season 6 opener. This episode is actually not that bad. I mean, first of all, I thought the Cylons were very scary, great villains. Second of all, I thought the narrative was great. And there were a lot of things I really liked about this episode. It had me at the edge of my seat. But most of all, I really liked how original it was. And I know people don't like that about Doctor Who, about what Stephen Moffat's done with Doctor Who, but I actually kind of like it. Just my opinion, you can disagree, but yeah, I like this episode. So as we approach the conclusion of our list, we revisit the most recent series opener or season opener, Deep Breath. Now this was the Season 8 opener, and it was also Peter Capaldi's first episode ever. Now, this was actually pretty good for a first Doctor episode. You know, it really showed the post-regeneration crisis. It really showed you, you know, how the Doctor can forget stuff, how he has a mood change. It really, you know, it demonstrated that really well. And I thought that really made Deep Breath a great episode. It really set the tone well for what would become of the rest of that season. So, Deep Breath comes in third on our list. So, taking the number 2 spot on our list, taking the number 2 spot on our list, even though I'm not really numbering it all, it's still in an order, is Rose. Now, this is the first episode of the rebooted Doctor Who series, and I gotta say, for a first episode, for a pilot, it was pretty good. It really, you know, pilots are supposed to not give away everything about what's coming for the season, but kind of give you a general sense of the coming tone. And this episode demonstrated that really well. You know, Rose Tyler, they introduced Rose Tyler really well. The narrative, they also brought back, you know, the old-fashioned narrative. And I think for a first episode, having it from a companion's perspective in a pilot episode was really a brilliant idea. So, and it also showed the mystery behind Christopher Eccleston's Doctor. It was definitely great. It was definitely a great episode for any longtime Doctor Who fans, and it was also a great way to introduce new fans to the wonders of Doctor Who. So yeah, the second on our list, the second episode on our list is Rose. And finally, taking the top spot on our list, you guys probably saw this coming, the 11th Hour. Now, this was the series opener to Season 5, my favorite season, and, come on, guys, this is amazing. I mean, I've seen a bunch of opener lists, and, you know, some of them have had many different choices, you know, rankings than I did, but almost all of them have had the 11th Hour as number 1. I mean, you can't say, there's not a lot I can say about this, because it's just sheer brilliance. It's really hard to describe the brilliance of this. I mean, you just can't say that you watched this episode, and didn't want more. I mean, you just can't say that this episode didn't leave you wanting more. This episode was brilliant. With that said, guys, I'm gonna wrap up this video right here. I hope you enjoyed, and I'm out. Yeah, they said it'd be bigger.